All right. It says I'm live, so I hope I am. So, welcome, live from the crossroads of America. A talk show about guns, politics, or anything else that crosses our mind. If I answer questions from the audience, just put them in the chat or email me at rickslifeasiseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. We are broadcasting on gun channels and YouTube. I have a Patreon page. All the information is down below there. All my past shows, the audio file is up on Podbean, iTunes, and Stitcher. This one will be up within 24 hours of the broadcast ending. Yeah, that's about it, really, on that. Let's see who we got. First person in the chat today was Patriot in the Dark. Then we got Cavalier. I can never pronounce it. The Tactical Pickle is what I'll call him because I can never pronounce his name. Jason Stewart, Mystic Guns. Who else we got? Ozzy Osbourne, New York Outcast. E Honda's in the house. 2 Live Moo. They're all there. That's that. Let me introduce my panel so far. Is Patriot in the Dark. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing wonderful, Rick.
Okay.
Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, then we got the Kingpin.
Hey, Rick. Good to have you, man.
Okay, great. Great to be back. Okay, now people want Wednesday, actually it was on Tuesday that I had to have some dental work. And it turned out that it was bigger than I thought. But they were, one of the teeth, the one where I was taking the antibiotics for, was still infected. So when he yanked it, he cleaned it all out, but he didn't want to stitch it up because he wanted to get the infection out of there. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't come back on Wednesday. Plus it hurt too much. It wasn't hurting. It was a sort of like just a constant nagging there on my gums. And that's why I didn't want to do the show on Wednesday. I just want to keep everybody informed, but things are going good. Of course, I mean, everybody knows I'm on Social Security disability, so that after 2 years, that entitled me to go on to Medicare. So, but I use a Medicare. I use a United Healthcare supplement plan, and it has dental on there. And even with that, I still had to fork out $500 on my insurance for what work they did on there. And but I got to go back and have more work done. But I got to wait till January 1 for when my insurance clicks over. Then I think they give me $1,500 or something for dental work. So I spent my max for this year. So when January comes, I got $1,500 again. So we can go finish off what he's got to do. So then yesterday, I had to drive down to Evansville and get a cortisone shot in my right hip. You know, so I thought it was just, I never had a cortisone shot before. So, I mean, and I had to go to radiology because they use the sort of like part of the x-ray machine to pinpoint the hip for where they stick the needle in. And that wasn't too bad. They numbed it all around, and they stuck it was a big needle because I'm a fat guy. I got fat legs, and I'm holding my hands up, but I don't know. It was a fair sized needle, but it went in. I mean, it stung when it went in, but once it was in, it was no problem. They done it, and what they're telling me is we're sticking the good stuff in now. He said we mix a painkiller with it to help. So they said your leg will feel great today. When you leave here, you feel great. When I left here, I wasn't feeling that good, but last night my leg was feeling great. I thought, oh yeah, I like this. But this morning it feels worse than it did before I had the shot. So I don't know. I'm just hoping that's sort of like, I've heard people say normally a day or two after the shot is when it hurts. Then after that, it should start working. So I'm just, I'm hoping that's what happens. But hey, it still might not work. I don't know. But that's it. That's what's been happening with me this week. So I got all the personal stuff out of the way. And let's go on to my topics. Just real quick, I just happened to read this. I mean, I'm assuming the Netflix released a Brazilian, or they released it in Brazil first, a sort of comedy parody of Jesus being gay. And the Christian community is up in arms, big time, from what I'm reading. Which I don't know what to think about that. I mean, I think it's, I don't know. Is it pushing the gay thing too far?
No, it has nothing to do with gay. It has to do with we hate Christians. Because they will never, ever, ever, never, ever do a Muhammad is gay. Not going to happen. That's only an attack on Christians. It's got nothing to do with pushing homosexuality. Well, I mean, I'm sure that's their underlying, added bonuses. They're going to push the homosexuality thing, but it's just a straight up attack on Christianity.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, but I just thought it's just going. Yeah, you're right. That is what it is, but it just sort of caught me, and I was quite surprised they done it in Brazil, because Brazil is a very religious country, So there we go. Oh, unknown user said to me, "Did you see where Smith and Wesson had come out with a 9mm EZ?" Yes, I saw that. Bastards. It's just a way to make me buy more guns. So I might have to save my money up and try it out and see how easy it really is to pull that slide. I've seen a couple of videos that they're saying it uses the 380 slide on there. I don't know how true that is, but yeah, I mean, it will be worth looking into. But don't get me, I mean, I do like my 380 EZ. It's so easy to shoot. It really is.
Yeah, I can't see the 9 being soft shooting. I mean, it's 9, but
yeah, I mean, the recoil is going to be harder because it's basically a more powerful cartridge if you look at it that way. I mean, but if the slide is easy, but then it's the recoil too that affects my hands as well.
Yeah.
So Black Cat Outdoor has joined us out there. So there we go. Anyway, that's that. Let's get on to the main thing. Is there a Showdown Brewing in Virginia? I mean, I read the article that the National Guard commander put out, and he did. I mean, that was definitely, that guy ought to be a politician, because that statement he put out was non-committal. It was about 4 or 5 paragraphs of absolutely nothing. So I don't know, but there's 94, 95 counties in Virginia. 80, I think it's over 80 now, are calling themselves 2A sanctuary counties. I mean, this is all on paper. What does it actually mean in fact is what it comes down to. And you got a lot of things. We got some opinions here on the panel.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to let them say their stuff, and we're going to start off with the main man himself, Patriot in the Dark. What's your take on all this?
Boy, oh boy,
Let it rip. Let it rip.
Well, I honestly, I know there's, I might lose some people, but I could give a shit right now about Virginia. We have the means right now. It keeps flipping in my head, the movie Young Guns, where they're running up and they're all on horses and they stop at the edge of the cliff, and then the what's his face there, Indian guy keeps riding through, and he's yelling, and so they all yell the same thing, and the horses all jump off, because it was to stop or something. But there's a lot of things that are bothering me right now, and I've kind of put it out a little bit on gun channels twice in the last 2 weeks. There are a lot of people out here that have, for the last 2 years. I'll start at the beginning. What the hell? We got an hour, right?
An hour, whatever it takes.
For the last 2 years, you've heard nothing but people talk and complain about Hickok being so big, and he does nothing for the Second Amendment. He does what he does, and this and that, and he doesn't concern himself with that. And you can count how many people on how many chats weekly, every week, for the last 2 years talk about that kind of stuff, right? Now, we have a chance. I mean, I brought it up in the last month. Think to yourself how many people that you watch, anybody that's over 1,000 subs, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 subs, even up to 25,000 subs, like Travis. He's got a lot of subs. All right, I'm talking about the middle guys, not the Yankees and the huge guys that are way up in the stratosphere. I'm talking about the guys that were complaining about everybody not doing anything, these big channels not taking their responsibility to get information out there. Tomorrow is supposedly the Second Amendment rally online. All right, I haven't heard a single person. Matt brought it up this past week because I emailed him about it. But think to yourself, how many people have actually mentioned this? Now, there's some contention if it's going to make any difference. People talking about phone calls. If you call by yourself, next Tuesday, next Wednesday, whatever, and you call 10 times, it ain't going to make a bit of difference. But this was a concerted effort to get everybody to talk to everybody, because you don't have to do anything. It's free to make a phone call. Nobody's got long distance charges anymore, right? So you're sitting on your butt. You can make a couple calls. You can tell the people that you talk to make a couple calls. These guys that have 100, 700, 800 people watching them, they got all these subs. They don't say anything about it, right? If everybody called on one day, that does make a difference. They are gonna see that, right? Now, there's a bunch of stuff on this. I'm going to try to keep it straight, but I know there's people in our community that look at Mom Demands Action, Every Town, all those kind of things, and sees what they're doing, right? So when they have their little rally, that's that Christmas rally or whatever, and it's open to the public, and they post it out on Guns and Ammo or whatever, the blogs and stuff, to, hey, you should go over there, right? You can't tell me that people on that side don't notice what the hell we're doing, right? And so you can't tell me that Bloomberg wouldn't throw a couple grand to get a couple bus loads of people making phone calls, right? He can get, people in the Philippines doing it, whatever. I don't care, right? So what happens tomorrow and Wednesday, and Tuesday and all of next week? I guarantee all those dumbasses that have all those subs, that have all those channels, that people that watch them every week, they'll talk about it next week after it's all over. And after shit has happened and Bloomberg's got 90% of the people calling are anti-gun, whatever, anti-liberty, anti-freedom. I'm kind of talking all over the place, but it's infuriating that people can't mention it. Because why? Because it doesn't affect them. I can't see it. It just drives me nuts. And this thing with Virginia, I mean, I do apologize. I said it. I could give a shit about Virginia. It's not that I don't give a shit about Virginia, but when you got 1,600 people that show up at the town hall and stuff, you know, saying we're going to be sanctuary cities, where the hell were all those 1,600 people when they were voting, right? Okay, I've heard that there was 25 districts that were uncontested. Why isn't there one of those 1,600 people get off their ass and actually run against somebody that you know is anti-gun, anti-liberty, anti-freedom? You know, this bullshit about fighting against the National Guard. It makes me sick to hear anybody say they're going to do this and they're going to do this and I'm going to fight there, take it from my cold dead hands. Unless you sat next to somebody that got shot in the fucking neck, excuse me, or had a sucking chest wound and they died next to you, I don't want to hear that kind of stuff because it's bullshit. It's fake, you know. And I will call out all these channels that haven't done anything. And you know, this gun website says the thing about the raindrop doesn't realize how much he affects the flood or whatever, meaning all the little things that you do help, right? Regardless if it's, you know, writing a letter like Squibb doesn't like to do, or making calls or any of this kind of stuff. But one guarantee that however that works. Anyways, opposite of that is if you sit on your ass, you don't do anything. You sit and you just watch your little things talking about yeet cannons and Hellcats or whatever the hell people are talking about this week, right? That's guaranteed helping the flood, but it's the anti-liberty, anti-freedom flood. And if you want to be a part of that, that's fine. I don't need you watching me. I mean, I don't have that many subs, but I love every single one of them. But if you're one of these ones that think that you know, talking about, I don't know, whatever, Black Friday ads are more important than you know, saving your liberties and freedoms to talk about this shit and to actually have that stuff. Because talking about ads, you know, 6 years from now when you don't have a firearm or don't have the right to talk or, you know, say what you want or get on these little podiums and rant and rave like I'm doing right now, you know, you tell me how much that kind of stuff is going to be important to you. You know, this stuff about the videos being child safe and stuff. Hey, that's great, but there's more information than just that. You know, they got a setting. All your videos can be, you know, not safe for children, whatever. Then it's done. Stop worrying about that kind of stuff. You know, and actually do something that affects something. You know, get out there and you talk to somebody. And it doesn't matter if you don't make a phone call. I could give a shit if you make a phone call personally. But if you talk to 4 people, maybe 2 of those people are going to talk to somebody and maybe they will call, you know? So I don't know. I'm all over the place, but you know, that whole thing with fighting the National Guard, that's bullshit. I mean, you know, if you're going to wait until you get to the cliff to say, oh, I'm going to flap my arms and fly down, that's a little after the fact, you know, and everybody says that, oh, well, we got to be proactive. We got to do this. And then they turn around, they talk about garbage, you know? And so I challenge everybody out there for the next week, every live show you watch, if they don't mention something about calling and doing something, which is kind of late, there's only going to be a couple shows tonight probably, but guaranteed, if they're not listening, they ain't going to talk about it. They won't. And, you know, get in the comments and ask them why the hell they aren't mentioning that tomorrow is the day that we're supposed to call. So, anyway.
And somebody in there said, well, it's Sunday, ain't going to be nobody there. But you'll be leaving a message. You'll be jamming. If enough people call, you might actually, you know,
they're open. Those lines are open 24/7. It doesn't matter. And your local guy does the same damn thing. You can leave a message. You know, they come in and say, oh, the recorder, our little tape deck is full. Well, they're going to know, you know, would you rather have it you, or would you rather have somebody complaining about whatever, bird shit on their statue or something?
I agree with you. I mean, I was making my phone calls tomorrow. You know, and not only phone calls, I was going to send a couple of emails too. You know, and I'm going to add to this, and I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. If, 500,000 people or 1 million people email, right? They might not particularly read your personal email, but whoever's controlling the emails, whoever you write to, and the senator or the representative, his person will say, by the way, boss, we got 500,000 emails on this gun thing. They do take notice of it.
The other thing is, ask everybody out there in the chat. Have you heard anybody talking about it?
Has anybody in the chat heard anybody talking about this thing tomorrow? I'll put it out there.
I know, like E Honda had his thing, and I had put it out. I think it was one of his morning chat things, and he had mentioned that he hadn't heard about it. So I mean, that's the whole point, I mean, making phone calls. You can call and complain about your newspaper not getting there, or whatever other kind of nonsense. E
Honda says he's going to make a video tomorrow or a live stream of him calling and emailing and posting links on how to get a hold of these ass clown. There you go.
And you should put out one tonight because E Honda, you have a lot of you got a lot of people that watch you and stuff. And if you did a little quick live stream, guaranteed you'd have people jumping in there, and a lot of them might not call because they'd be on a list or something. But that's just
New York Outcast said he hasn't heard much about it.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah, all right.
And it's been out there. It's been out. It's been known for over a month.
Yeah.
And, it's ridiculous to me because I'm just a little guy. Whatever. I threw out a little.
What the hell's that?
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh. All right. What's your take on all this, Kingpin?
Tag, you're it.
Sand Hills covered it, and he put the switchboard number out there. So he talked about it Tuesday on his show, which was pretty cool. But around Halloween, there was a Walmart that was selling a bridal costume for children, like small children, toddlers, or whatever you want to call them. And one lady got offended and said something, and they removed it from the store. This one company was making black pumpkins with white jack-o'-lantern faces, and one person complained, and they removed those from sale. So why is it those one person? We hear, Howard Stern was famous for saying it back on his radio show that, 2 people call and complain on him every day, and 200,000 people call and say how wonderful of a show he's got, and it's those 2 people that put him in all the trouble all the time. So if you don't think that one person can do something, don't do anything.
Yeah, well, there you go. Okay, what do you think about the Virginia thing? What's your
I hope
take
the
on
best
that?
for the people. I hope the best for the people of Virginia. I hope other states can start looking at what's happening in Virginia and be proactive with their elected representatives and their friends and their families and their communities, and get ahead of this stuff wherever they live. Virginia waited too long. Virginia is a perfect case of it'll never happen here, and it did. So I hope the best for them. I don't wish any ill will on them. They got a real long, hard fight in front of them, and hopefully they win. But more importantly, hopefully, West Virginia and, North Carolina say, wait a minute, Tennessee, we're not going to let that happen here. And they get out ahead of it.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, I'll give credit. I mean, yes, Virginia, left it, didn't get off their asses to stop this from happening. The ones who did vote and stuff, at least they got off their asses and started getting this to a sanctuary thing going, right?
And
I've heard
where
it.
I'm going
I've
with
heard
this
it
is, I mean,
forever.
they're proactive in that sense. Where I'm going with this, take the Washington State, right? Washington State's practically had gone the same way as Virginia is now, but they haven't done any of that. They're not organized like that up there, you know.
You
So
don't even have to look a lot. I'm telling you from experience. I live in Maryland, and everybody, it's fun to make fun of Maryland because the laws suck here and all that kind of stuff. But I hear it all the time. Anytime an election cycle comes around, and I'm on the job site, and I'm like, "Oh, look, guys, I'm going to be late tomorrow because I got to go vote. Where are you guys going? Oh, we're not voting. It's a waste of time. We're going to lose anyway." And I've heard that in Maryland for 20 years.
oh yeah,
So that's how you get Maryland. That's how
yeah,
you get Virginia and California. As people say, "Oh, my vote doesn't count. What does it matter? We're going to lose anyway," and they don't do anything.
yeah. I agree with you there. Your vote does matter. You might not think it doesn't, but it does. I mean, I use this. I said this before when I was living in Rhode Island for years. It was. I mean, Rhode Island's Democrat through and through. And even in the main one for you know the even the last election for President Trump. Normally, the Republican maybe 17%. The rest of it's all Democrat. So they know they're voting. So everybody voted for Obama, or not Obama, for Hillary this time. But where I'm going is it's always been around 17%. But this last time, I think it was up to nearly 30% Republican vote. Yes, they still all vote. The majority voted for Hillary. But what I'm saying is that percentage up. If you keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, eventually it might go the other way. And you can't say no, it can't. It might. It's never going if you don't try, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, you might be able to flip it,
Well, the other thing is that makes people outside take notice that, it's going from 17 to 30%. They might be more willing to spend a little bit more there or spend more time there.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's right. You might actually get the Republican. You might get Trump to do a rally in Rhode Island if he knew that the percentages were climbing all the time.
I would like to add, I wasn't spitting on Virginia. I mean, it's just everybody's talking about it and they wait until after something bad has happened to decide to talk about it. Even though everybody says, we always talk about things that happen after the tragedy, after this and that. But if you do want to help them out, you can always go to the Virginia Defense League and do some donations and help them out that way. Because they're at least doing something positive.
They're the ones right now are doing the fight in Virginia. The political fight,
So there is things that you can do, but it's just don't wait and sit around and wait until somebody else does it, because that never happens. I mean, does your lawn get mowed if you just sit there and wait for it to happen? Unless you got a kid, and that whole thing.
I know what you're saying. That's what you're saying. I mean, exactly. I mean, I live on my own here. I ain't going to get groceries unless I go out and buy them. Nobody's going to bring them to me. The
one thing I brought up in the video I put out about tomorrow, about the Second Amendment rally online, was to encourage your kids. If you got teenagers that are sitting around wanting to borrow the car or something, to get them involved. It was kind of a joke, but it's not, because they need to know that this is the process. This is how you get things done. You might not think it is, but just like Kingpin said about Walmart discontinuing stuff. Right. Pistol ammunition is bad, so we're not going to carry that either. That's how you got to get them involved in the process, because they're definitely not learning it in public schools. They're not learning that, civics anymore. I mean, if you don't teach them and show them, and if you don't know, you need to get in pick up a book and learn something. So, anyways, so get your stinking kids off the couch playing Overwatch, and and walk them through. Make a little card that tells them, hey, don't talk about Overwatch because they don't really care. Talk about something that's important, because that eventually that will help, because that's going to give them understanding that, hey, if I don't like that we have a stop sign instead of a stoplight and there's accidents in my town, what do you do about it? You just sit at home and complain and sit online and pout, or wait for somebody else to go and do it? I don't think so. You got kids getting run over by cars because they're speeding. There's processes of getting that shit taken care of. And sitting there just watching somebody else talk about it, or talk about how they like a certain style speed bump because that's more important to you than whatever. I ain't got no use of it.
Rich White says people in Virginia are so convinced that they can't beat the libs in Northern Virginia, aka DC area, that they don't vote, and that's
their fault.
And that's
you don't even have to put it on such a broad perspective. Just look at gun channels and Patreon. When you look out in the chats, everybody's Patreon supporter. Everybody sends everybody stickers. Everybody sends everybody coffee. We all watch each other's shows and videos and thumbs up and Instagrams. Support these people, like Black Cat. Black Cat's out there doing as best he can in Pennsylvania. Send him an email once in a while and say, hey, man, I appreciate what you're doing there. Look at Squib. Squib drives all over the country visiting people at rallies and stuff like that. If you know somebody in Virginia, say, hey, what's the email address down your local police station? And send that cop, that police station, an email and say, hey, I live in California, but I support what you're doing there. So all the way over here on the other side of the country, you've got support. Just keep it internal. You don't have to. If it's too much, just focus on us and continue to do what we do for us, and then slowly branch that out, because there's gobs and gobs and gobs of support on gun channels, and the friendships that are here are special. So maybe you can send the local sheriff in Pennsylvania an email and say, hey, thanks for sticking up for the First Amendment. Thanks for sticking up for the Second Amendment. I've got friends that live in Pennsylvania that can really use that help. And then if you have a police officer or a sheriff or a town council in your area, let them know you support them, because one of these sheriffs steps out there and say, I'm not going to follow these unconstitutional gun laws, and there's nobody there to support him, he's finished.
Absolutely. All right.
Send other people on YouTube a thank you email. Don't send me a thank you email. I don't need a thank you email to get off my butt and do this.
Yeah,
this is actually easier than getting the stoplight change or the stop sign changed to a stoplight. And you might go, how is that? You travel all over the place. Yeah, and I get to network out with my friends. I get to go and see things. I get out of the house. Well, believe me, it takes me away from my personal time. Because I work second shift, I'm not on the same schedule with the rest of the world. I only see my family on the weekends. When I give up that weekend to go to a rally, my family understands. My family understands how important this is, not just for me, but for them, and they accept it. And it's not something that was just an overnight, hey, deal with it kind of thing. This was a gradual, but it's really, that for me is easier than trying to go down to the township council and argue that we need a stoplight instead of a stop sign. I think that staying in the know, reading your emails from your organizations, you don't have to read every single last solitary word, and networking out with other people, especially the relationships that we form. It's as simple as sending somebody a text. Hey, did you hear about this? No, what's going on? And then both of you are on the computer looking. It's happened before. It's those sorts of things that, and then it's also, in our community, we police our own. We make sure we shut down the bad information, not necessarily the differences of opinions. There are people that want to shut down the differences of opinions, and I don't agree with that. But when you're out there giving out, like there have been times where I've said something on a show and somebody goes, no, that's not right. This is what really happened. And I've had to go back and check and go, sure enough, thank goodness somebody was there to correct me, because I don't want to give out bad information. But there's a lot more to it than just going to a rally or joining the NRA. The most important thing is to vote, no matter how discouraged you are. And the most important thing is to encourage other people that their vote can be effective. Rick said it all. Okay, maybe this election, it doesn't change things. But look at the numbers. Were there more people showing up this time around? Okay, that's good. That's encouragement for other people the next time. That's also something you can use when you are having the discussion and they're going, oh, I haven't voted in the last 2 cycles. Well, do you know that more people on our side showed up last time around? Maybe if you were there, it would have made a difference. Or those times where the election is won by 1 vote or 20 votes or 20,000 votes. It's important that we stick with it, that we make the dedication to this. And something as simple as just voting in the primaries, really, how hard is that? Before work, after work? The stuff is all within driving distance. You drive that far to go to the damn grocery store. Show up, vote. If you don't want to show up to a rally, fine. Don't show up to a rally. But I'm always encouraging people to try it at least once just to see what it's like. Maybe you don't have enough money to join 8 gun rights organizations. Okay, join 2. But make sure that you're doing something. These people that go, I do 16 things and you only do 1. I'm better than you. Okay, that's good and fine. But that person's doing 1 thing. How many people do 0 things? Most of them. And as much as I will belittle somebody, if I don't think they're living up to a standard, and you know, I benchmark everything off of me, not saying you have to be like me. There are lots of people that are better than me. Maybe I'm trying to get up to their standard. But the whole thing is, on that, I'm not going to blast you just because you're doing 1 thing. Because doing 1 thing is better than doing nothing. Because we see what happens when people do nothing.
Yeah. Ohio 45 ACP says, caller, text your friends about these events and invite them to join you. That's how Squibb and I met up with Rich White and Mike from Budget Guns and Gear in D.C. So there you go. I did read something about spending time in a car with Squibb.
Well, now, you know, I mean, along those lines, though, that's how Johnny Sprague jumped into this fight. I met him at the Pittsburgh rally in the parking structure. Never seen him before in my life. And all I did was he had never been to a rally before. He took it upon himself. He took the initiative as a young man who could have been doing anything else with his time other than driving to another state, a place he's never been, right, to go show up at this thing, to something he's never gone to. And he took it upon himself to do it. And then he used the whole YouTube gun channel thing to network out to contact me, because I didn't give him my contact information or anything else like that. I talked to him a little bit about, the YouTube thing, the gun channel thing. But overall, I didn't hand out a card and say, hey, subscribe to my channel or any other garbage. And he used that system, our networking system, not knowing who I was, to find out who I was and to get a hold of me. And we went to the rally in Harrisburg together. And we've stayed in contact regarding gun rights things and stuff like that. He took the first step. Well, actually took the first and the second step, and it wasn't really that hard to do. I know some people are shy, or they're afraid of Antifa, or they're afraid they're going to end up on a list, or what. Sometimes you gotta just get out there and do stuff, because if you don't, the regret you're going to feel later when you go, oh man, I could have gone. Oh man, my vote could have counted. Oh man, I could have networked out with these guys or something like that, and maybe learn more. I'm new to this. I want to learn more. The regret is going to be worse than any embarrassment you might feel being the new guy, because we don't bite. Well, maybe Yankee does, but other than that, I mean, we're always looking to encourage people to use that new media that G-Webs is always talking about, to spread information and to network out and to share ideas and to stay in contact with each other and to be able to do stuff like, hey, can we carpool to the rally because I'm a little short on gas money this week? I've done it twice before. It works. So take advantage of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, that's how we got together. When we went, I know the dreaded NRA showing up in Indianapolis this past February or April was it? Whenever it was, I met up with you, Squib, and Ohio 45, and a bunch of other people too.
Yeah, but see, people can talk about how cool your 380 EZ is, your performance center model. I've got footage of you handling one for the first time. I was there with you, and and it was pretty cool. The three of us at the Smith and Wesson exhibit, and we're going over everything, and we're looking at stuff, and we're talking to the reps and stuff like that. And in the process, we were networking out with each other. I mean, I had met Ohio 45 ACP before, but I never met you in person. But we've been talking online all this time and whatnot. And it's always nice to have a real face to the name or whatever. You find somebody and maybe they're taller or shorter or whatever it is, but still at the whole time, what was going on in the background? They were having that big deal with Ollie North and the whole 9 yards, and people are out in the hallway going, "Did you just hear? Did you just hear?" And we were right there for it. And that stuff will stay with you, and that stuff kind of helps encourage you to want to stay active, to want to stay in the know, not just to know what new products are coming out, but also what's going on in the 2A fight.
Yeah, you're right.
I would just suggest you drink black coffee and leave those fluffy coffees to the ladies.
Yes,
but that's just my.
I'm going to take you to Starbucks, and I'm going to get you like an iced mocha cappuccino.
Yeah, I think.
How are you going to know until you take a sip? You're blind.
I think you ought to stay away from flavored coffees, though, Squib.
I think smell the patchouli coming from behind the counter.
I think your palate's shot because you can't.
Somebody made a request that I put something in the coffee for my next coffee review video that I wouldn't normally put in coffee. I'm actually thinking about doing the video.
Well, it just matches the scenery.
Yeah. All right. I mean, talking about moving on, did you guys see that? I mean, what do you call him? That asshole. No other word for it. The Houston police chief, going on about gun rights. And one of his men just got shot, and he's using
a Bloomberg guy.
He's using the guy's coffin for political gain. I mean, all that chief is a wannabe politician. He's not a policeman. I mean, personally, I'm quite surprised Houston puts up with him. But I believe he's appointed by the mayor.
Yeah, what is it? He's a chief or he's a sheriff?
He's a chief, police chief.
Okay. Yeah, he's appointed, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's appointed, and he's a political wannabe. But there must be a way to for the citizens. But then again, Houston is let's be honest, Texas has gone purple. Unfortunately, the libs have got into all the big cities, and it's slowly turning that state. And talking about that, I just read this morning, Bloomberg has donated another $10 million plus to help Democrats keep their seats in the 2020 election. Plus the $100 million he's put in for his own presidential campaign.
See, I hear that a lot. Them throwing in, I heard some guys discussing that, as far as the money that was thrown in there, and that they couldn't, beat the ads and all that kind of stuff. But that's, I don't know. I mean, that is true, I guess, that they have a lot of ads, because even like local here, I get ads all the time. I don't really watch regular TV, so I kind of skip through it, but I'm sure the radio, everything, you have all those ads bombarding you, but that's where it calls for your vigilance. We're supposed to be ever vigilant, and you make sure that you talk about things and you bring it up, or, if you do have something that you get in your email, most people have printers. Mine doesn't. I guess I print once in a while, but you can make copies of that. I mean, most people have phones that take an email anyways, and you know everybody, and maybe they won't read emails from you, but I don't know. There's ways of getting information out there, and just to fall back on, old Bloomberg's spending all this money. It doesn't matter. I mean, otherwise he would already bought everything if that was the case. How much money did he dump into, Washington? And obviously he dumped a lot into Virginia, but there was already some kind of apathy going on there that he thought, well, hell, I could throw it in here because, maybe
he took
there are
advantage
some.
of it. He took advantage of that situation.
Yeah. I mean, would you expect him to do anything other than that?
No. Hey, if I had his money and I had an advantage, I would have done the same thing.
They didn't do this. They didn't flip Virginia overnight. They've been flipping Virginia for 10 or 15 years, and they've been bragging about it the whole time. And everybody's been sitting back once again with the famous saying, it's not going to happen here.
Yeah. You're right. Because this last time, it was only, the Republicans only had the majority barely in Virginia. It didn't take many flip seats to change it. So they've been working on it a long time. It's like anything else. The same thing happened up there in Washington. Same thing's happening out there in Texas. And it's because people are just sitting on their asses, not doing anything. So,
but the Yeet Cannon 2 is coming out.
Yeah, that's right.
So
that's right. If I could, financial situation stopped me from living in Rhode Island. That's one of the reasons I moved. Right. Otherwise, I would still be there doing my fight. Behind enemy lines. But I couldn't afford to live there anymore. So at least I came where my relatives are, and I come to a gun-friendly state. But then again, here we go. Indiana, even as gun-friendly as it is, we've had a red flag law here since 2005. I think was the first or second state to ever have one.
Oh yeah, that's Trump's fault. That's Trump's fault.
That's Trump's fault.
That throws it back to that ever vigilant. You don't just sit back and relax. Michigan is a wonderful place for sportsmen and, hunting and, riding your little boats and all your snowmobiles and all that stuff. But if that's all you focus on, there's a lot of things that come in. You get people like that. I don't remember her name, that one that was saying that the Delaware stuff was white supremacists or whatever. That
Rashida Tlaib.
Yeah, and she's anti-Semite, so it's kind of whatever. There's all that kind of stuff. So if you sit and you just
a good example. Okay, our state here is fairly gun friendly. Some people can argue over the registration and all that other stuff and blah blah blah, and every state's got something, right? Okay, so but here's the thing: in the last election, a bunch of people who ordinarily wouldn't vote showed up to vote. And when they did, they flipped the state, and we've got a lot more anti-gun politicians in office. But they also voted on a proposal that probably wouldn't have been approved if all these other people hadn't shown up to the polls. And in the future, if the anti-gun politicians want to pass an anti-gun law in this state, they're going to have a heck of a lot of an easier time getting it passed because of that ballot proposal that a bunch of people voted yes on. And I don't think the people in the state that have gotten comfortable, even if they're, whether or not they're just hunters or whether they are pro 2A, they've gotten comfortable with the fact that we're living in a fairly secure state, that the potential now, the threat on the horizon is much bigger. Hopefully it doesn't happen, or hopefully it doesn't happen for a long time, or hopefully when it does happen, we figure out a crafty way to deal with it beforehand so we're not doing sanctuary counties. But I think the reason that it passed really wasn't as much just that people who ordinarily wouldn't even get off their butt to vote showed up to vote, but it was because a lot of people didn't show up to vote. And we have some concerns ahead of us in this state. No state is totally immune. So if you're comfortable and you think, oh, everything's going to be fine, and even if the people that get elected don't seem to be on this bandwagon, there could be something as simple as a ballot proposal that could make it easier for legislation in the future.
That's the sneaky stuff about government, is they make so much of it you can't keep track. Imagine this: you have a business and you have one employee. You can keep track of that employee perfectly. Everything that employee does all day, every day, you can pretty much know about. When you get 50 employees, one person can't keep a track of them. When you got 500 employees, now you have to have 100 managers to keep a track of the 400 employees. Then you need another 50 general managers to keep track of the managers. That's what government does. It grows and grows and grows and becomes more and more complicated. You cannot, I don't care who you are, you cannot, as a regular, everyday, got to go to work and take care of my kids and play catch with my son out in the yard and change a tire and help my neighbor cut her grass, kind of regular, everyday American, and keep track of the government. And until we change that, when people get tired of being, like Squib said, comfortable of this over-bloated government, nothing's going to change. You know, when you can write a 5,000-page bill about would Patriot talk about streetlights being out, and half of it's got to do with pork belly spending and trade deals and all this other kind of stuff, and there's like 2 lines about a streetlight in there, and everybody's okay, that's normal. That's how Washington works. It is what it is. It's always been that way. Then it's always going to be that way.
Yeah. Philo says things are changing so fast, California laws won't look too bad soon. You're right. It is. I mean, they're creeping in. You got New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia's going to go this way. You know, it is. It's creeping all over. What amazes me is New Hampshire. Live free or die state? Have Bernie Sanders. Isn't that his state he's senator of? Is
it's Vermont.
Don't ask him because he's confused. He doesn't know where he's at from one moment to the next.
Well, whatever state.
Biden. I don't know.
That's Biden.
I mean, because it's either that. I mean, because isn't Vermont has never had gun. Is never had. I mean, it was the original constitutional carry state. Is it Vermont or New Hampshire? But where I'm going at, he's an independent, but he's been there for his whole career in politics, and they just keep voting him in. You know, yeah, Sean Connery. That's it. It's Vermont. He's from Vermont, and isn't that the original constitutional carry state? They have no gun laws.
Yes.
You know? Yeah. But they keep voting Bernie in. It's amazing, you know. And
well,
eventually,
when he first,
go on.
I was just gonna say, I thought when he first started coming out, wasn't he didn't really care about firearms? I don't know.
He didn't seem to have. He was more on his socialist kick. Yeah, and I think he realized that
eventually goes to,
he's got to toe the party line. So, and I'm not saying he's pro at all. I just he'd probably be the least effective at it.
Actually, Vermont's a beautiful state. I mean, I used to go out there camping in the summer times when I lived in Rhode Island and Connecticut. Just for your info, for anybody's interested, Vermont is where the founders of Alcoholics Anonymous came from. You know, so I just you know, so I used to go camping up there, and Bill Wilson, who was one of the co-founders there, he's buried up in Vermont, and there's people during the summer. There used to be a big thing where everybody go up there camping for a week and stuff. But anyway, it's a beautiful state. But what we got here, Asshole Cat Outdoors. That's a new name now.
I think a couple people in the chat are having fun with each other.
I would like to say hey to Philo. I haven't seen him around in a bit.
Yeah, I haven't seen him around for a while. Rich White said pot legalization on the ballot got the libbies out to vote in Michigan.
Oh yeah. And the way
that's exactly what happened. And a bunch of the conservatives said, "Oh, everything's fine here. I don't need to vote."
Yep.
So it's a combination of the two.
Yeah.
And the ballot proposal that was on there gives more power in the future for elections in this state to the 3 biggest cities in the state, whereas in the past, it's been an equal kind of thing. So all you rednecks out in the country that are clutching to your Bibles and your guns because you didn't show up and you let all the dopers show up to the election, and they won't be back to vote next time because they only showed up one time because that's about all they got the energy for. And when somebody in Detroit says the entire state of Michigan needs to register all their guns, your vote out in the country isn't going to matter as much, I shouldn't say matter as much. It's going to matter. It's not going to be as effective as it used to be because you didn't get off your butt and you let all the dope heads show up and change the state. Good job.
I would like to say that just because the dope heads showed up, they're out in the country as well. So there is that. But the wording of those proposals were written so that somebody that didn't know what the hell was going on and they read it, which that's normally how they write them anyways.
They just checked yes, and yes. They had 3 proposals and the pot one was in the middle, and the person just checked yes, and yes, just to be sure, because they're so stoned they don't know what they're doing. And then they just voted, Democrat on everything else because, it's free money and all that. And you know what? You want to do that stuff, that's fine, but could you read the ballot and realize what you're doing? You want to give the 3 cities with the highest crime and with the worst worst city government in the state all of the power or most of the power instead of letting it be equal anywhere in the state. Yeah, have another.
Plus, you have to deal with gerrymandering, which Maryland's going to get smashed. The next time we get a Democrat governor, Maryland's pretty much going to be almost unwinnable. Virginia, first thing they're going to do, second thing after they try to push their gun control stuff, is they're going to redistrict all the communities in Virginia.
No, that's right. I mean, the winner goes the spoils. So there you go. The winner gets the rules.
So just as a recap, in case you came in late, tomorrow is the Second Amendment rally online. Just make your calls to your state, local, and national representatives. Even though you won't hear it anywhere else, or maybe you will, but anyway. So do it, people. Or I'll yell at you next week, too.
That asshole Cat Outdoors says, this is his B channel, by the way, B-hole channel, he calls it. If Trump signs a bill to legalize weed, he'll win in a freaking landslide. The Republicans are so short-sighted. Oh, God. Oh, talking about that, it's almost 4 o'clock, and I haven't even done last week's quiz yet. So let's do that real quick before we go. And last week's quiz, I had to pull out the big box there. Oh, I got the all the old prizes mailed out. I said I was going to do it on Monday. I never got to it until Friday. So I do apologize. I done it yesterday.
I just noticed something, Rick. Are you shilling for YouTube? Is that a YouTube shirt?
It's a Hickok 45 YouTube shirt.
Shills everywhere.
Yeah, Hickok 45 written on the bottom. Yeah, I mean, YouTube shill. But what it is from Alan Anchor is this mat that was the top prize and a bunch of, and then I got some stickers and stuff in there. And I actually had 8 entries for this one, which good. And the question was, who in the Guinness Book of Records, who was given the title of the fastest man with a gun who ever lived. And it was Bob Munden? Is that how you pronounce his last name? Munden?
Yes.
Yeah. He was born February 8th, 42, and he died December 10th, 2012. So he was by the Guinness Book of Records, the fastest man with a gun who ever lived.
But why is that not included anymore?
I don't know. No.
Because those jackwagons at school say you can't have that in the Guinness Book of World Records in our library, and so they took it out.
Censorship is the answer.
Yes.
Yes, censorship. Yep. Yeah, pretty soon we won't be able to have the Bible in the libraries anymore either.
Guinness is a private company. They can do what they want.
Yeah. All right. Let me hit my random picker here. Get all the names in. Let me hit the draw button. Who we got? Here we go. Man, that thing was slow. Is my computer playing up on me? Let me check. Yeah. Ohio 45 ACP is the winner.
Congratulations.
Yay!
Yeah. So he's the winner. So let me write that.
I meant to say rigged. It's rigged.
Yep. It's probably because Squib was on the panel. He pushed
so
his
you're the
name
winner
on
of
that
Ohio 45 ACP. So, okay. Now for this week's quiz is I got a bunch of stickers and a couple of patches. I've got, what have I got here? Let me have a look. I've got my patch and I got the other patches, but I've got the band that says #ProGun as fuck on it. And I've got this cup holder, Firearms Technology, SBI. I got stickers. I got two patches here. One is will not comply. And what happens 85 miles northwest of Las Vegas? Stays 85 miles northwest of Las Vegas. It's a spaceship with a Martian on it. So that's my patches. The question, real easy. This one is so easy, and we've been talking about it for the whole hour. So everybody should enter this one. And the question is, in the Patriot in the Dark Second Amendment Rally Online video, I want the make, model of the firearm that was in the right hand corner, the bottom right hand corner. You got
I know that answer. I know that one.
You know that one?
It was funny because before you said that, I was like, boy, I'm going to throw in this. And I was going to ask that same question for a giveaway. But
I got a pretty good question. I got a pretty good question for your next week's challenge involving Patriot in the Dark. So I'll tell you off air, Rick.
Okay. All right. So that is the question. I want to know what firearm, make, model, and all that good stuff that goes along with it in the bottom right-hand corner of Patriot in the Dark's 2A rally video. And email me at rickslifeasiseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com by next Saturday noon with that answer. I tell you who I haven't seen in the chat today. Sabrina.
yeah,
So,
she was.
Remember, she said she wasn't going to be here this weekend.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I forgot. So, all right.
And I got some homework for everybody too.
Yeah.
But I've already mentioned it. Just, if you are sitting in on any chats tonight, since this is the 14th of December, and tomorrow is the 15th, and that's actually the rally. Make sure you stir up trouble in the chat if they don't mention the rally tomorrow, and ask them why they're not discussing it. If there's anybody doing live chats tonight.
Yeah.
So if
All
you
right.
do that, then email me and tell me which one it was, and I'll send you guys something, or one of you if there's more than one, because I'm not rich, not like Squib.
Yeah. Okay. My next one is to be honest with you, I when I was messing around with the random picker, I closed the tab to the page I had, and I ain't going all through them to find it. But where my next topic is a fun one. It's to do with Christmas movies, right? What constitutes a Christmas movie? Now, it could be any. I mean, basically, a Christmas movie's got to have sort of basically Christmas in it, based around Christmas and all that good stuff, in my opinion. So Die Hard qualifies.
Okay, Bruce Willis. I was going to say that was.
Yeah, so Die Hard qualifies. And also, I mean, some of the old movies back in the 30s and 40s, this is where I said I deleted the thing. I had the names and the dates, but I think there was two famous ones that we watched. Was it Miracle on 34th Street? Some of that was released in July. You know what I'm saying? So all this kind of stuff. But here's a Christmas movie, what I was going to mention, that you don't hear listed as a Christmas movie, and it's got all the elements, right? Is the 1969 movie On Her Majesty's Secret Service with James Bond. That was because the bad guy, what's his name, Bloomfield, right, was sending Christmas presents around the globe, blowing up things, killing people. And if you remember, that's also where James Bond proposed to his so-called wife that was going to be, but she died in the end. So maybe that's why it didn't become a Christmas movie, because it didn't have a happy ending on that part. You know, I was just saying, just some trivia I was looking up the other day. I just happened to write it down. You know, all right. I mean, take Scrooge. That as a kid, that movie scared the shit out of me. That was a horror movie.
Yeah, I just put out the one with George C. Scott is the best.
Yeah. And Bill Murray's was pretty good, so.
Yeah, that's right. Die Hard, best Christmas movie ever. That's right. It had it all. The big
What
Teddy
about the Gremlins?
Yeah.
Wasn't the Gremlins a Christmas movie too?
Yep.
Yeah.
Another Christmas movie, Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I get a meh?
No, I said yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. My yes are.
Yeah. I mean, Sean Connery and Patrick are correct. Nobody mentions On Her Majesty's Secret Service because it was the only movie with George Lazenby as James Bond, and the movie actually sucked. Really, it's one of the worst ones ever made, I think. You know, but Sean. I mean, Sean thought the plot was great, but it was the actor that killed it. I don't know. I didn't think. Maybe that's why I didn't like it. Maybe it was the actor. But
Rich White proves that people in West Virginia don't know good movies.
Rich White, Christmas Vacation is overrated. That's a great movie. Yeah, I said Rich White. I mean, but then they don't need Christmas movies. All those monsters and stuff they have in their state.
Deliverance wasn't a Christmas movie. I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. So doesn't West Virginia have Mothman and all that shit?
Yeah, it's just about to bring that up. The Mothman Prophecies is a West Virginia movie.
Yeah.
He could have been invaded by the Bigfoot too. So Bigfoot might be using his computer right now.
True. Oh yeah, very true. So, Oh, Ozzy Osbourne, Home Alone was a Christmas movie. You know, I think, but what makes them stand out as a Christmas movie? I mean, everybody says Die Hard. Everybody, Miracle on 34th Street.
Bad Santa.
They're good movies. That's
Yeah,
why.
they stand the test of time.
That's it. I think Rush Limbaugh was talking about it, and I talk about it all the time when it comes to classic rock. We've got classic rock. What we Clarence Clearwater Revival, that kind of stuff that we all know. When you mention classic rock, this is what we're talking about. Now, when you turn on a classic rock station, you hear Nirvana and Pearl Jam. That's not classic rock.
No, it's not.
And the reason that Die Hard is such a great Christmas movie is because Die Hard is such a great movie. All these movies that come out now suck.
Yeah. Oh, Rich White says Mothman is in Washington now. Remember, Yankee moved. Yeah, because Yankee was originally from West Virginia, I believe. So there you go. You're right. You're right. I think that's what it is the movie itself stands the test of time. So. All right. Anybody else got anything else they want to ramble on about, talk about? We can go back into politics or anything else. I just wanted to bring that up because I just had it written down here.
What's the cut?
Do what?
What's the cut of the week?
Oh, yes. I didn't think of one, to be honest with you. So let me.
I got another neat question we can talk about then if you
Okay.
We may have already covered it, but the cheek. I hear you watch all these fancy Gordon Ramsay TV shows, and they're always talking about the cheeks on the animal as like the best cut you can get. What do you know about that?
Say that again now.
The cheeks, like
smiling cheek.
Like not your butt cheeks, but the cheeks on your face.
Yeah.
All these fancy cooking shows talk about the cheek is like the best cuddle in any animal. Have you ever messed with any of that stuff?
I've only messed with it in the sense of using it like when I boned out pigs' heads, I would use the cheek meat in sausage. And we used to buy ox cheek or beef cheeks. We used to mix up and we used to use that stuff in ground beef to make it nice and red, and stuff because it's very lean. So, but I've never actually. I suppose it would be. I mean, if it was cooked right, it would eat all right. I would imagine, because the actual cheeks, even on a pig, is very lean, and there's plenty of meat there, and the same on a cow. So, I would imagine if it was cooked right, it would taste okay. So it's not something I dealt with. When I dealt with it in my day, it was mainly used. It was a scrap meat, So these cooking shows, they come up with all kinds of stuff, I mean, that's what like they turned, blade steak into flat iron steak and all this kind of stuff to, Two Light Moose says, what about oxtail? Oxtail soup. I used to eat that as a kid growing up in England. You take
Are you talking about before? Are you talking about the tail, like the thing that swings back and forth off its butt? Tail?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I knew what we were talking about.
Well, when I say
it's not bad. It's not bad.
Oxtail soup's pretty nice, And when you cut it between the cartridge of each thing, and you throw it in a big pot and boil away, make soup out of it. It's really good. Got plenty of flavor.
But that's just like doing a soup bone or something, isn't it? Just for the flavor of it, or does it put off stuff besides making a broth?
Oh, Ohio wants to know if you want a crown rib roast or something. No, you didn't. You run it. You won a cleaning mat from Allen Anchor. So, what about? Yeah, I mean, I can bring this up next week. Crown roast. Oh, I mean, in the last job I had for 10 years, that was my job every Christmas was to do pork crown roast. Because I used to do, I was originally when it first started, besides the boss, I was the only one that knew how to do them. So every year the job was given to me to do it. It became a pain in the ass to do them, you know. But yeah, I know how to do all that shit. So
what about turtles? Have you ever eaten a turtle? This one dude I used to work with, he was like somebody we pick up every once in a while to do some sanding, and he would always talk about how there's 7 different kinds of meat in there. I gotta get me a turtle. There's all kinds of meat in there. I like turtles, and I don't know. I'm not eating a turtle.
No, I've never eaten turtle. I remember as a young kid when I lived here, when I used to come to my uncle's and aunt's farm for the summer, we used to catch snapping turtles and go sell them to this guy who would eat them. But no, I mean, the thought of eating that, a snapping turtle, goddamn thing stinks for one thing. You know, it's nah, not my thing. Yeah. So Rupin said raw horse is delicious. Now, if you guys, if you guys ever go to France and you're walking along the street and you see a butcher shop that has a horse head hanging outside, I'm not talking about a real one, but normally they'll have a metal one out there or something like that. That means they sell horse meat. So, if you're into eating horse meat, so they tell me it's very good. I don't know. I've never eaten one that I know of. You know, so that's why I'm reading the chat here. People coming up with all kinds of stuff here. You know, so yeah. So what were we originally talking about? Oh, the cheek, but yeah. I said when I dealt with it, I mainly used it for ground beef, pet food, sausage, or whatever. It was a secondary thing. It wasn't that major. But like I said, it's very lean, so it would be all right. I mean, like I never ate people especially people in England, they eat loads of the I call it the offal. The hearts, tongues, livers, spleens, and all that kind of stuff. They're big into that shit. I couldn't stand any of that stuff. Like when we used to cut pork chops in England, and the kidneys were left in them. So you would have a pork chop with a piece of kidney on the side. Oh God, that was disgusting. I mean, how do you cook a kidney? You boil the piss out of it. That's what goes through your kidneys.
That's funny.
Well, those guys in England that they were used to having to fend for a lot of stuff during the war, I guess.
Oh yeah, a lot of food was rationed, so they learned to, and that kind of stuff wasn't. So that's what people ate. I've told this story before. Like I remember my mother telling me, and she served it up to me one time, and it was one time only. Was
green bean casserole,
melted beef dripping on slices of white bread. Mm-hmm. Having beef dripping, in other words, beef fat melted, poured over bread, and eat that. That was a meal for them. So I said my mother served it up to me once, and that was it. Even though I ate most of the stuff that my mother fed me because I'm a big boy, I see, but there was some stuff like that she would serve up. I said, back. It's not like today where a family they cook a different meal for each kid. It was a meal was cooked, you either ate it or left it, and that was it. And there was a few meals now and then I would leave. And beef dripping was one of them. So liver was another one. Oh, I cannot stand eating liver. I don't know how anybody can eat liver. You can dress it up any way you like. Liver is one of those kind of things when you bite into it, it just gets bigger in your mouth. Oh, it's disgusting. It really is. So, yeah, my mother tried to disguise it as steak. It's like sort of like a chicken fried steak type thing, she battered it or whatever, threw it in the pan, fried it that way. Oh man, it was disgusting. Oh God,
Tastes like eating dirt.
Oh yeah. I'd rather have eaten dirt than eat a piece of liver.
Anybody ever tasted Geritol?
That's that old guy stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
Don't.
probably.
What are you talking about?
No, don't. Geritol. The medicine Geritol.
It's like a.
No, I haven't had Geritol yet, but I have had Ensure.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't ever drink Geritol. That is the most disgusting thing on the planet.
Yeah. Oh, what's called it? Sean Connery's. What did he say here? Or somebody's talking bad about tuna in mac and cheese. Well, everybody knows I'm un-American. Mac and cheese is that's up there with liver. It really is. It's disgusting.
Yeah, if you put your tuna fish in mac and cheese, you might as well put your mac and cheese right in the trash.
No, tuna. The only way I like tuna is a tuna fish sandwich. That's it. Don't give me tuna casserole or any of that kind of crap. Or eat it in a tuna fish sandwich when it's mixed with mayonnaise and stuff.
Hey, Kingpin, thanks. You gave me an idea for a new video.
But mac and cheese is. I mean, I was having this discussion with somebody. Was it yesterday in the chat? And I said it on this chat before too. The other day, I went through. Where was it? Was it McDonald's? Was it McDonald's I was going through? Or Burger King, one of those. But anyway, I just said, all I want is 2 hamburgers. And they go, you want cheese on those? And I said, if I wanted cheese, I would have ordered cheeseburgers. So don't get me. I love cheese. I made the other day because I had to eat soft stuff. But I went against rules. I tried it anyway. I actually made myself a cheddar cheese and pickle sandwich. It went down quite nice, actually. So I do eat cheese, by the way, guys. And actually, talking about that, I might even make myself Welsh rabbit for dinner tonight. And that's
my daughter loves that.
That's cheese on toast.
Yeah, she loves that.
Do you have to get the rabbit from Wales in order to have Welsh rabbit?
No. How it got that name, I do not know. But hell, I just toast the bread, put butter on it, slice some cheddar cheese, lay that on the bread, stick it under the broiler till it's all bubbly and melty, pull it out, bit of salt and pepper on there. Damn, that's a good meal. I'm telling you.
And my daughter likes that. She didn't know the name of it, and I told her what it was.
Well, Welsh rabbit?
Yeah, she's like, just looked at me like I was dumb, but she's like, hey, she likes it.
Yeah. So
kids.
Yeah. But anyway, so as you guys can tell, I'm not a mac and cheese lover. And don't ever serve me up green bean casserole or whatever.
So that's one of those
as well.
That's one of those things that came from the war, I think, when they were rationing and they were mixing flour with water to make hardtack. Next to that was usually the green bean casserole.
There you go. Ohio 45 says, add a bit of mayo to your mac and cheese, makes it extra smooth. There you go. There you go, Kingpin.
But now, what if you put tuna and mayo in your mac and cheese?
As long as you put extra packing tape and packing paper in there, I'm great.
Yeah. So, anyway, we are just wasting airtime now, guys. You know.
So remember to watch your live streams tonight and take notes. And if they don't mention that, make sure you stir up some trouble and then tell them that I told you to do it. I like that.
Philo says mac and cheese is great as long as it doesn't come out of a box. Mac and cheese is not great anyway. If it's made from scratch or out of a box, it's still disgusting. I'm sorry. That must be my British side of me. I just do not like it.
Even with brown sauce?
Not even with brown, but I would pour brown sauce on it to disguise it if somebody serves it up to me. Put it this way, if I was at your house and you served me mac and cheese, I would take a couple of mouthfuls to be polite, but that'd be about it. And oh God, please. And when I left, I would hit McDonald's on the way home or something and buy a burger. You know. So. Yeah.
Okay, so don't send Rick mac and cheese for Christmas. Send Squib black coffee. Get him off that blueberry truffle or whatever the hell he's drinking this week. And no mayo. Okay.
And don't send any mayo.
List.
Don't send any mayo to Kingpin.
No.
So there we go. But don't you put mayo in tuna fish? Like if you're going to make a tuna fish sandwich, you know.
No.
There we go.
When you send, they'll have a return.
Do what?
He's fading in and out.
Yeah, I think we lost him. I think we dropped him there because he's gone gray on the screen here. So
it's all that
right.
Mayo talk.
Yes, it just turned him off. He couldn't take it anymore. All right. So besides plugging the 2A rally online thing, anything else, Patriot?
I just I don't know. You know, take some time and spend it with family. And if you do have anybody you haven't talked to for a while, you know, if you were stationed with somebody, reach out to them. You know, you never know when that phone call. Do like real talk, not some stupid Facebook message that nobody reads anyway. You know, actually reach out and talk to them. You know, this time is rough for some people, and you know, you never know when that'll make all the difference. So I do appreciate it. Thank you, Rick, and check out everything.
All right.
Thanks for letting me rant.
Not a problem. Oh, I mean, I like egg salad sandwiches too, by the way. You know, so I guess I'll mention that. So, Kingpin, any shout outs, plugs, or anything? I think he's back. Is he?
I don't hear him.
No, I don't either. Well, what about you, Squib? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Any shout outs?
I'm working.
Oh, you're actually at work?
Yep.
Oh, okay. All that overtime. Good for you.
Yep. You know, I got to pay more in taxes, but I'm good with it because I still get a bigger paycheck.
I just got my official notification from Social Security that I get a 1.6% raise.
But Squib's at a union shop. That's why he's on the channel.
What they didn't announce was on my Medicare, right? This last year, they took out $135.50 for Medicare out of my check. And they didn't mention it this year, but where is it? It's here somewhere. It's on this sheet of paper here somewhere. Where is it? Oh, yeah. And this year, they snuck it in. It's gone from 135.50 to 144.60. Bastards. So, I mean, it takes $10 of my increase to cover my Medicare increase. Bastards, the government give it to you in the right hand, take it back with the left. You know? So anyway, Kingpin, any shout outs or plugs? Hit the mute button. Come on, talk to us. No, I might have lost him again. He's not talking. All right, guys, I want to say thank you to everybody for being here. I really do appreciate it. Oh, Ohio 45, can you email me your mailing address again? Because I'm not sure if I still have it. I would appreciate it. Thank you, and I'll get that out to you. All right, I will be back on Wednesday night with Shooting with Disabilities. If you guys got any questions or anything you want to talk about on that chat, please email me with them, because I'm struggling to come up with topics for that show, without repeating myself. I know there's got to be loads of stuff out there, but I'm missing it somehow, So if anybody can help me, put me in the right direction, I would appreciate it. Because I think it's very important that, people that do have anything from arthritis to missing limbs to, being visually impaired, anything to keep the shooting sports going for them. There's no reason why people with a disability can't shoot, So I like it in that sense. That's what I was originally trying to do when I started it. So I want to say thank you all for being here. And I will see you all next Wednesday at 7. And I'll be back here next Saturday at 3. Oh, let me have a quick look. Now, yes, I'll be here next week. Is the 18th and the 21st. But I don't think I'll discuss it with you guys next week. But the 25th, Christmas Day, is a Wednesday. I don't know if I'll be doing the show or not. So that's something we got to discuss. So I will talk to everybody later. I want to say thank you for being here. And I am out of here. Catch you all later.
Never Fear the Dark.